darkness, emptiness, dashed hopes, despair, abandonment, confusion. Is that it? It's over, the end. That's not how it was supposed to be or end. This is all wrong. This is complete failure. That's what we're left with on Good Friday afternoon, and it continues right through Holy Saturday. The sheer emptiness and void is so real, so palpable. The empty tabernacle. That sitting and staring into space because you can't take it all in. The shock. There are no words to fully articulate the pure devastation of Jesus' execution and abandonment, seemingly by God. The pain of suffering, the pain of illness that stalls, limits life's expectations, life being fulfilled. It is this setting that begins our Easter Vigil on Holy Saturday night. We begin in darkness, outside, locked out of the church, in darkness and isolation, in bewilderment of the events of the previous day. But we gather at the foot of the steps of the church in anticipation, in the hope that darkness, pain and suffering is not the end, not the final judgment. This is the night that sets Christian believers apart from worldly vices. This is the night when Christ broke the prison bars of death and rose victorious from the underworld. That darkness is broken when a fire is lit, blessed. That darkness, that isolation, despair and emptiness is challenged by the light of that fire. It is challenged when a light from that fire is taken to a special candle and flames something new, something wonderful. The Easter candle, the risen Christ. And suddenly hope breaks through into our world. There's an expectation of something new, something different, something never happened before. The light of that special candle, symbolizing hope, leads the way and we follow, climbing the steps up the closed doors which now open. We enter a dark, empty church. We rush in and quickly find our places in dimmed light. When the lights are turned off, complete darkness again. And then 3 times we hear those immortal, glorious words, words that if we allow them to, will break through into our lives and change and transform everything we ever knew. The same words that changed the lives of the first disciples forever. Lumen Christi. And we reply, Deo gratias. The light of Christ. Thanks be to God. Sung 3 times, rising a semitone each time, with the final one when the candle is at the altar. Then we can't hold back, and we need expression, words to announce the meaning of this most glorious sight, most wonderful symbol of the risen Christ. The Exultet, the great hymn and declaration of the resurrection, is sung, a history of our salvation, God working in the world, preparing his people for the arrival and life of his only begotten Son, who now has risen from the dead. Our liturgy then, through the readings of the Old Testament, takes us on that same journey of salvation from the beginning of creation through the desert, our God guiding, explaining, teaching his people, preparing them for his Son, culminating this year in the Gospel of Matthew and his account of the empty tomb. Then follows our baptismal liturgy with the blessing of water, welcoming and baptizing new members into the church and renewing our own baptismal vows and commitment. Our liturgy then concludes with the liturgy of the Eucharist, the summit of our Christian lives. This year, so unique, so different, we cannot gather and come together and live out this drama. We cannot in person share that joy that death has been conquered and is not the end. However, we can and are challenged to truly reflect and allow that same drama to take hold of us, feed us, nurture our strange lives at this moment in time, during this strange time of social distancing, social isolating, and alienation from living our lives fully. This is a unique time to truly and fully grapple with the impact of Jesus rising from the dead. Where do we put that light of Christ in our lives? At the centre or on the sideline? Do I truly believe, and will I allow myself to be fully transformed and set free from the darkness, the emptiness of the tomb of death and sin? And will I let the risen Christ make me truly and fully alive? The Lord has truly risen. Alleluia, alleluia. May God bless you all, and may the risen Lord fill you with joy and love always, but especially during this time of pandemic. Alleluia, alleluia. The Lord has risen indeed.